Today, we're going to talk about camping. Now, when you think camping and things you need to go camping, most of you think of food and water, right? Yes, you need those to go camping. What else do you need? You need shelter. Shelter is what covers you at night, keeps you dry, keeps you safe. When you think camping and shelter, most of you probably think of tents, and that is what most of us use when we go camping. So today we're going to talk about the steps in setting up a tent. So when you go camping, you can do this. Hopefully, when we can meet again in person, we can do this as a class as well. Now to start, we need to go over some vocabulary. Most of us know this whole thing as called the tent, but there are different parts of the tent that I'll be using during the presentation. So it's you understand these words, we'll go over the other words involved in the tent. Now the base part, or the main part of the tent, we call the inner tent. All right, inner being inside. So this is the inner tent. Now over the inner tent, you're going to put the rain fly. Right, this keeps out the rain, but also keeps out the sun so it doesn't get too hot in your tent. To get inside the tent, you need a door. So this would be called the tent door. Right, so this part here, a little zipper will open up and you can go in the tent. At the top of the door, and also on the back side usually, is what we call a screen door. So this is open to let air go through the tent. Now to keep the tent up, you need poles. So these are the tent poles. Right, these will keep the tent up. So we have the inner tent, the rain fly, tent door, screen door, and tent poles. These are the main bigger parts of the tent. Now for the smaller parts. To keep the tent on the ground, you need tent pegs or stakes. They can be plastic like here, or you might see them metal. Either way, they're both called tent pegs or tent stakes. To put them in the ground, you would use a rubber or wooden mallet. You don't want to use a regular hammer because that could break the top of the peg. So by using the rubber mallet or a wooden mallet, it won't break the peg as you hammer it into the ground. To keep the rain fly on, you're going to have camp rope. Now, this rope is very long, and maybe the rope on your rain fly is also very long, and you don't want it to be that long. So what do you use? Rope adjusters. These little things will help you to shorten or lengthen the rope on the rain fly. On the tent, you might have these tent hooks, or as we call them, C hooks, because they are look like the letter C. All right, so these are the vocabulary words that you're going to hear me use throughout the presentation. So let's begin. First step in setting up your tent is site preparation. We need to get the area or the site ready. We need to prepare it. So what we need to do is clean that area. Pick up trash or debris, sticks, rocks that may be on the ground where we want to set up our tent. This is for a couple reasons. First thing, if there is something sharp here and you put your tent over top, you might get a hole in your tent. Not good. Also, in your tent is where you sleep, where you lay down. If you're laying down on top of rocks and sticks, that will not be very comfortable, right? So we want the area underneath the tent to be free of any debris or any trash or any sticks or stones, all right? Now, once we've done that, we want to lay out the tent. This way, we know how big of an area the tent is going to cover. We want to make sure the tent is on a flat surface. We don't want it to be flat and then fall off, right? So this way we know this whole area is flat. That's what the size of the tent is. No problem. So we pull the corners to spread out the bottom of the tent. Now, maybe last time we used the tent, the door was still open. So we want to close the tent and screen door. So that way, no mosquitoes, no bugs can get into the tent while we're setting it up. This might take you a little bit of time, and that will give time for the bugs to get inside. We don't want that. Once we've done that, we need to get the tent poles ready. So we want to extend the tent poles. These collapse and extend by inserting them into the little slot there. You don't need to pull very hard. These will go very easily into the slots. So gently put the tent poles together and have them all out as long as they go. Once the tent poles are ready, you're going to put them into the tent. So there'll be little slots on the tent that you'll slide the tent pole in, and you might see some hooks on the tent as well where you attach the tent poles to the tent. Then you're going to hook the four corners of the poles into the tent, and this will stand the tent up. So as you can see here, you're going to clip in the tent poles into the tent, the part of the inner tent. All right, now we've done that, we need to get the rain fly ready. So we're going to extend both ends of the rain fly. There should be a shorter tent pole for the rain fly, right? And this will basically give you a cover over the screen door and the tent door. Once the poles are in the rain fly, you're ready to place the rain fly over top of the inner tent. So as you can see here, this pole that goes across the top extends the rain fly over the door. So if it's raining, rain won't get into the tent, but also it leaves enough room for air to get in. We need to attach the rain fly to the bottom of the tent. And again, there are the C hooks there to attach the rain fly to the tent. Once that's done, what we're going to do is open up or roll back this entry door, right? This allows air to get in and cool off and air out the tent. So we're going to roll back the entry door now that the rain fly is on. Mosquitoes can still not get in because the screen door is closed, but this way air can now get in. After that, we need to keep the tent on the ground. If there's a large gust of wind or a big windstorm, we don't want our tent flying away. So we're going to secure the tent to the ground. As you can see here, using a wooden mallet or a rubber mallet, you're going to hammer the stakes into the ground. Now for the tent, you would hammer them at a 90-degree angle, so straight down. All right. After the tent is secured, you're going to secure the rain fly to the ground. Now, you're going to pull this line out so that it is tight because you want the rain fly to be off the inner tent. If the rain fly is hanging on the inner tent and it rains, you might get wet inside. But by having this tight, there's now air to go in between the rain fly and the inner tent. So you want to have this tight. But you also don't want to pull this the whole way across camp, which is why you would use the rope adjuster. Now, because this is tight, you don't want these stakes to go in at 90 degrees because they might fall in. So you want to put these at a 45-degree angle into the ground. That way they will stay there and not fall in. And that is setting up the tent. Now, on here you can see a PowerPoint as well to go through this at your own speed if this was too quick for you. So you can go through it. Also, underneath you will see the questions for the exit ticket to take to show us that you were here, you attended, and you were paying attention. All right, enjoy.